Hello everybody, my name is MsRheyRhey and welcome to Discovering Fandoms, where I take fandoms of any genre and of any kind and I lay them out before you in order to give you a hint of what they're about. No spoilers in this little series of mine. And today I will be talking about Chronicles of Narnia. For those of you who are not aware, Chronicles of Narnia is a high fantasy novel series written by C.S. Lewis and was published around the 1950s. I'm just going to say the whole decade. And high fantasy is a subgenre of fantasy where everything in said world is set in an entirely different universe or reality. So an example of this is fantasy in general could be things like King Arthur and his court with Merlin and dragons and whatnot, or even say, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons. It all really depends on your setting for that. So high fantasy would be examples such as Lord of the Rings, or even games like Dragon Age that is set in an entirely different world other than Earth. It can be considered high fantasy. Before I start talking about the Chronicles of Narnia, let me tell you a little bit about its history and the author's history. It was around 1939 when the author C.S. Lewis would come up with the idea of Narnia and its universe, but it wouldn't be until 10 years later when the first book of the series, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, was finished being written. And it wasn't really until 1954 when The Magician's Nephew, which is the first in its chronological history, the second to last in its publication history, and really the last in its writing history, to be finished. The inspiration for Narnia came from very many sources. While a lot of people focus kind of on the Christianity themes of Narnia and what it displays, a lot of it came from other mythology just as well. Because of his time living in Ireland, a lot of Ireland's mythology and medieval Celtic themes can be seen throughout the Narnia universe, and also creatures from Greek or Germanic, that is the word that is written on here, or Germanic myth can be seen, such as like dwarves, there's centaurs, I'm sure talking trees are in there somewhere. The series itself has been through continual publication since 1956, really, and it has been written in 47 different languages with the edition in Braille. So basically anyone and everyone can pick up this book and be encompassed by the world that was created. And as I said earlier, the series' publication order is pretty different from its chronological order, and you'll find that there has been an actual debate on how to read these since like 1957. You can date back until then, but the author C.S. Lewis himself states that he doesn't really think it matters what order you read the book in, because he himself didn't even write them in the order that they were published. So after that not so brief history lesson, the plot of Narnia isn't simple because, as I said, it's a series of individual books that happen to take place in the same universe, and one might have a cause and effect of one another, but they are still standalone series. There are many characters in the plot of the Narnia Chronicles, from our universe to their universe to other universes, and they all play a role in the books, obviously, or else I wouldn't mention them. And there's a lot of different lessons that each character really learns throughout their journeys through this. My personal history with the series has always been kind of one of meh. Since I was born and raised in a Christian family, the church that I grew up in used the Chronicles of Narnia, though be it not every single book and not every single piece in the books that they used. They used it to teach me the simpler understandings of what they were trying to get me to believe. And really, at the time, the lessons didn't mean much to me because, being the daughter of a pastor, I had a more formal and advanced understanding of that big guy up there. So children's lessons didn't ever really interest me, but I did enjoy the fantasy aspect of the stories that were told to me of Narnia. Ironically enough, it helped me grow my belief in magic and all that it entails. What I do appreciate about Narnia and its universe is the fantasy of it and the ability for this world to treat the children that come to visit it as adults, and they give them adult situations in order to grow and help them out as well. Personally, for me and my own picking up of the series, I've only really read The Magician's Nephew and seen the first 2 out of 3 movies that came out. And rather for taking them for what I was taught to, I took them for what I saw. And that was magical tales for kids to escape their reality for a while. So that's really all I can say about the Chronicles of Narnia. Thank you so much for watching. I very, very much appreciate it. If you have any other suggestions for a Discovering Fandoms video, please let me know down in the comments, or you can find me on Twitter or most likely Tumblr, because I am there every day. I will let my wheel of fandom turn right now to tell you what the next media, I guess, I will be talking about in the Discovering Fandoms, to give you kind of an inkling of what you might suggest to me. I have other Discovering Fandoms, believe it or not. Some of them are not as good, some of them are probably better than this one, but if you want to check those out, please do so. Thank you so much for watching. I am saying this again, but I very, very much appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next video. Have a wonderful life.